Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the world of Wayne. I love days like this. This is stage 4 of the Agora Models release, a build the Orca boat from Jaws. Now today I think we're finishing a little bit more of the cabin that we've been working on there, and I think we're starting the mast today, but I want to show you something quickly. Now I have been weathering the inside, that's all done now, I'll show you that later, but Agora Models are the home of big scale models and this makes no exception. I've put together the cabin here, and this is how the cabin looks on my previous Orca that I made, which was a Bill Weiger resin cast, and I'm sure you can see how big this is compared to the original one that I did. Oh my word, it's amazingly big. Even I was interested to see how much bigger it is. It's far bigger than I thought it was, to be honest with you. If you want to get this for yourself, this is available now. I have put a link in the video description and I've also got that QR code on the screen. But without further ado, let's get cracking. So let's open this up. As you can see, we've got the trays again, all about the Orca kit there. And by the look of it today, we have got 2 trays, and it is the mast that we're doing and the front windows for the cabin, and they look just like this. So I don't think I need this tray to start off with. I can put that to one side and open this tray. Obviously, if you put your hand over here and break these points here and here, it will open, as you can see, without springing everything all over the place. So the first thing we're going to need are these bits of acrylic, which are going to be for the windows. Now, if you remember in the last video, I said that I'm regretting taking the adhesive protection off here because I want to keep that smoky look on that. And now you're probably wondering, why am I doing it now then? The reason being is because I found a clever way to actually get a really realistic effect on these windows. And that is to make a solution, a really strong solution of water and salt, and just brush it on the windows, and when it dries the salt residue stays on this plexi and it does give a really good effect. I've been trying it out on some acrylics here. So we've got these frames for those windows to sit in, and basically all we're going to do is push these over the lugs. And it is going to need glue to hold this in. So once again, you don't want to be using super glue on this. Otherwise you are going to have a bad time. Just while I put my desk down, this job's going to require micro crystal clear. So I'm just going to dab this around the edges and put these into place. So one there. And then just one on this side here. And as I continue to build, I'm just going to let that set. Now these frames are going to be going into place onto this section just here. And again, this is going to need to be glued into place just onto this side. So what I want to do, once again, is some micro crystal clear just on this side as well. What I'm actually doing though is I'm going to touch it on this side here, just on this edge. Line this up and push this into place. Perfect. So we have one window done, and just do the same thing on this side. So this is the front windows here. Now I'm probably going to be weathering this side up later on, but for now I'm going to put these into place, and they just sit into the cavities here. So one here and one here. Now that's looking good. Now to keep these in, I need to put this part into place. Now it's actually going to go this way around here, and it's going to be going into this section just like that there. That's going to keep the windows in place, but I am going to need to glue that in. So this time it is going to be okay to use my CA glue. I'm going to just put a band down the middle just there. I'm not putting anything anywhere near the hinges there, and I'll put this in. Perfect. And then that's going to keep those windows in place. Okay, put that to one side. Let's bring over the cabin now. And if I just power this up by plugging this into the test board, you can see the spotlights are on, the navigation lights are on, everything's working here, but I am actually going to take this off. So this top section is going to stop working now. As a matter of fact, let me just quickly show you the inside as well with the lamp. Hopefully you can see that. Okay, so let's take this off. You'll see obviously what I've done with the light, what's in there, and hopefully that's giving you an idea of what I've done on the inside. Now people are going to be looking at my floor going, what have you done there? This is the colour of the floor for one of the Orcas. The other Orca looks a lot more woody and a lot more red. That's the Orca that sinks. This one's more of like a bleached effect. So this wood at the bottom should be lighter than the mahogany walls that you've got around here. Or walnut walls, I don't know what colour they are. All I know is the walls here are darker than the floor is at the moment. But that's how all my weathering's looking. So you see we've got 3 holes here for this to go in. This is going to be going in like this. And by pushing it into the sides here and here, it's going to hold the other sides of the windows in place. Now I do need to hold these in with screws. And I can't find the PWB screws here. I think this is what was left over from the last pack. So I've got them here. So let's put these in. And there you go. By screwing that in, let's put these in here. Now I might glue this in here just at the top, just to give that a little bit more security on here for when I open these up. And as you can see, these should be able to open just like that. Just do the other side to check that one works. Yep, perfect. So I have just put some glue on there. I'm gonna just use some clips to keep these nice and tight into place there. And the same on this side over here. And leaving that to dry, that's that stage complete. Now all the rest of the stages here, we're going to start to build the mast. So even though we've got some parts left over here which have got some mast parts on, we've also got some parts for the interior here. Look, the first aid box, the toolbox there with the books. I mean, this is great, but that's on tray 1. We actually need tray 2. So once again, once you've got your hand in here, just do this. That'll help you opening it without it pinging out all over the place, as you can see. And I need these 2 wires here. So there is a difference between these. I do like how they've been stored in here. Look at this. This is going to ensure that these don't get damaged. So one has got 2 LEDs in it. Now these are these little SMDs that I used on the interior light. So this one's got 2 on. And let's just have a look at this one. This one here has just got the 1 on. Very tiny lights these are. As you can see, the size of a pinhead. Now we can actually see these working. So what we can do is actually plug this into the test board. Into the position right in the corner here. So when that's on, as you can see, this has got 1 really bright light working. And with this one here, it's going to be exactly the same thing. But this time, we should have 2 lights coming on, as you can see there. Excellent. So, the wire that's got 1 LED. I need these stickers here. And we're going to be putting a label 9 around that wire. Just here. Perfect. And then we've got label 10. Which is going to go here. Now we're going to be starting to do the parts for the mast. Now these are all labelled, as you can see. We've got the number here, so that's number 6. And I'm guessing we're going to be counting down now. Number 5, 4, 3, 2, and finally, number 1. And what we want to do is we want to start threading these wires through. This is going to be fun. And I'm going to be threading this through part 1. So this can come out here all the way through. Give it a wiggle. And it should. Only I can get it to come out of that hole there. Look at that. I don't want it out of that hole there. Hang on. Just like that. We've got 1 out and there's 2. So there we go. We've got the 2 lights coming out of there. And I want to pull these all the way through. Leaving about this much wire coming out of here. Now, gonna do exactly the same with the other wire I've got. Now 13B, which is this part of the mast, we're going to be doing exactly the same thing. So that's going to go up through here, pull them together, and then what I'm going to do is attach, without trapping any wires in here, these two parts together. Now they'll only slot in one way, so that's how they fit in. As you can see, there's no pinch in there because I'm still able to do this. Now what we want to do is glue the join here so this can't come out. So I'm going to put some glue around the side here and put this together. And as I said, it can only go in one way, so all the holes are in the same direction here. Now I've got these two parts on a sprue that I'm going to need to cut off. So I'll get them off now. Now what we're going to do is we're going to be creating the spotlight which goes in here. All it is then is a case of getting some glue. I'm just going to be putting some glue into the cavity here of the shorter of the LEDs. Putting this into place in such a position that when I put this in, the actual light is going to be hanging down here. So that's going to go in there like that. I'm pretty happy with that, I think. And then I'll put the top on, which is going to pin this into place. Oh, that's gone on brilliantly. Now we've got some lenses here, so I want to be cutting this lens off just here. This is the smaller of the lenses. And we're going to need to glue this lens into place. So once again, I'm using the micro crystal clear on here. And what you want to do is you want to glue that lens into place. But guess what? I've got the micro crystal clear. I've got the lens. I'm not going to be doing that. Because you know me. You know I'm a fan of resin. So I'm actually going to make a lens with the resin here. Obviously this is your model, do it how you want, but yeah, I'm going to do this effect here. So I'm going to be dropping the resin in here. That's also going to aid to keep that into place, and you can see how uniform that's gone in there. Blast it. So when that's done, let me just give you a demo of what that looks like. As you can see, it looks pretty cool. Nice. Okay, I'm just going to pull this through because what I want is this to be sitting in a position just here, just like that on the mast, so it's sort of pointing down. Now we need to glue it into that position. Excellent. So that's how that looks. We're going to take the next part of the mast, which is part 3. Once again, I've got these two LEDs which are on long leads, which I'm going to need to thread through. Thread. Wayne, pronounce your THs properly. There you go. That comes out there. And once again, we are going to be putting both of these together. So again, all the holes on this side are going to be matching each other. So again, I'm going to be gluing this into place. There we go. That's how that's looking. We have then got this part here. I don't know what this is. When I was making the other one as well, I couldn't figure out what this is. This looks like some sort of support. I don't know. But this is going to be going on here. So once again, I just need to thread the LEDs through here so that I can put this into place on top here, just like that. Excellent. Now that does need to be glued into place, but to be honest with you, we're going to have a part going on top of here, plus this holds itself already anyway, so I'm not actually going to glue mine. It's looking good though. And at the moment, that is all we're going to do in that stage. So you can probably expect in the next stage, we're actually going to be continuing the mast. So we've got piece 4 now. Once again, put these little LEDs through here. Make sure they come out the top, just like that. Make sure the holes are all on the same side here, like this, and I'm going to glue this into place. They are quite a tight thing to actually put in. Okay, let's just put this to one side for a second. And now I'm bringing over this part here, which is going to mount the spotlights that we're going to have at the top here. Now I need to make sure this is round the right way. And there should be two little notches in here. One here, one here. So I want the notches to be facing down. So this will be going into here like this. And I'm putting that on just like that there. So the notches are facing down. Excellent. So that also needs gluing into place. Now what I'm trying to do as well with this, hopefully on the top camera, I'm trying to ensure that that is perfectly square to the mast. Also check it's square in this direction as well. So square there and square there. Now the wires we've got coming out of here need to go into the slots on this side here. So all these wires now are coming into the slots just here. Just into the middle. So hopefully you can see that there. So we're going to have of these two LEDs here. If I just separate them, one is going to be going down here. The other one's going to go into the other side down here. And just for now, I'm going to be putting them into the notches that we've got on each side. And there's quite a lot of excess there, so I'm just going to pull that a little bit there just to get rid of the excess at the top. Now, what we want to do, we've got a little bit of padding in here. Let's just get this out. And what I want to do is I want to take this padding. Now there is adhesive on one side of this. So with this, we want to create a sheath around the LED. So I'm going to put this on and I need to roll it round. Now as you can see, I've got these lenses here that this is actually going to be fitting into. That's how it should look when the whole thing's done. This then gets pushed into the top here, which as you can see is going to keep this in place. Just like that. Now we want to close off this side so we don't actually see that. The white sticky is actually going to act like a reflector in there, which is quite clever. So for that reason, we've got these caps to put on. So let's just snip these off. Ensure that the wire here is going down the notch in the side, just like that. Put some glue around here and ensure that the notch on this side matches the notch on this side here. Push that into place. So that is how that should look in there. Now what I'm going to do once again, before I do my resin, because we have got to cut off these lenses here and put them in. Again, I'm not going to be doing that. I'm going to be using my resin, but I do want to just check that the light is working. So yep, both of those are working absolutely fine, as you can see. And now the fun part for me is I'm going to fill this full of resin. That's perfect, a perfect lens there. Look at that. Blast it. Now that bulb's not going anywhere now, but if I show you what it looks like, there you go. That's how that looks. Now this is going to be sitting into the outside of this section. And I'm going to be gluing it into the hole in the side there. So, once again, I'm going to put some glue just on this hole here. Make sure the side with the notch and the wire is pointing towards this side. And I will stick that into place just like that. All that's left to do then to ensure that that is straight is to put some glue just on the ends here and here. And I've got a cap to put on, which should house everything that we have got here, just like that. There we go, we've done our first spotlight. I'm going to repeat that on the other side.
A few moments later.
There you go. Probably on the side camera's best. That's it working. That looks really good. Okay, that is also the end of that stage. Now in this bag here we've got part 14E, a little black part this is, so let's get that one out. This is going to be glued onto the notch just here. The large part of this, or the thicker part, goes towards the sliced out section of here. Let's put this in here. There you go. That's in just like that. Now I've got a support bar to put into place, which looks like this. Now one side of this is going to be going into the hole here, and it's the side with the ring. We are gluing this into place, and the other side is going to be going into the hole just there. So we need to glue that into place. It's amazing how much work this mast is actually taking. Okay, so we're going to have part 5 now, which looks like that. We're going to be gluing that into place as the next one that's going along on the mast here. So that's that one in. Then we've got the crow's nest cradle, which looks just like this. I want it round with the indented side facing down. So just as a test fit again, this is going to go in here just like that. And that actually fits really tight. And then finally, just some glue around the outside here while I put the last piece of the mast into place. Now what we want to do is we want to make sure that the holes here, see there's 2 holes on this last piece, are the same way as this beam here. So when I put this on, it's going to go around this way. Perfect. Okay, we've got lots of brackets to put on now, looking like this. I'm going to need these ones first. Let's snip these off. And one side of this is going to be going into, you probably noticed this is quite a large hole in this section here.
It was at this moment he knew. He fucked up.
So remember, in the timeless tradition of I make mistakes so you don't have to, basically, you need to make sure that this is on the right way. And you can do that by checking this section here and here has got a line. So that line should match up there all the way down. So this is now going to enable me to put the brackets in that go onto this section here. So I can put one side in here. Perfect. Turn it round. And I'll be putting the one in the other side. So that they can join up. Excellent. Now let's be honest, if I've made the mistake, I wonder if anyone else has made that mistake as well. Or is it just me? That looks good though. Okay, next brackets are these 2 here. Now these are going to be going on the first hole underneath the spotlight here. So again, a bit of glue on there. I'll put one in one side. Just like that. Turn it over. And I'll put some glue just around there. And the 2 edges just here and here. So that I can put the other side in there as well. Lovely. The last one left on this sprue looks like this. That one's going to be going into these little bladed sections just here. And I want it this way round with a notch facing upwards. Like that. And then turning this round, I've now got these brackets here. I just want to cut off the one that says, well, they're cutting off the middle one. I think all of these are the same, to be honest with you. But this is going to be going on the other side of this here. So when that one's on, that should look like that. And then let's just cut off the other 2 here. There's 4, but obviously they're in halves. So there are 2 lots of brackets. And these are going to be going just on these sides here. Just like that. Perfect. Now, if we look at the holes on here, we've got some holes which are round, some holes that are square. It's the square ones I'm interested in. And that's because I'm going to be putting these rungs into place. And what we're going to do is put one in one side here. Just like that. You'll see they alternate, and then we'll do the same on the other side. Once again, it's important to make sure that these are square when we put them in. So, as you can see, they're all done on one side there. Let's do the other side. And there you go. They're all in on those sides. Now the good thing is, we're in here, we're going to need to put bolts on the other side. We do have 2 spare there, just so you know. For those bolts, they look like this. So I need to cut these off and put them in the round holes on the other side. Now put them in the right way. They should recess in there quite a lot, as you can see there. Done those 2. What I am happy about is how dirty my fingers are getting doing this, because it is weathering up my mask lovely. So I've done one side, I'm just going to do the other side now. There you go. They are all in. That's looking really good. And that is that stage complete. So what we're going to do now to finish up, we're going to be on the last stage here, assembling the Galley accessories here. So we've got some books that we're going to be creating now. A whole heap of books. As you can see, that's what all of these parts here are for. To give the impression of books. Now they're all numbered, so basically we just got to put all the numbers together. Makes things easier for us. So number 1, keeping the numbers on the bottom, we'll go to number 2, which fits on there. And then what I'm going to do is just put a little bit of glue over the number, bump, and grab number 3. Put that in next. Doing it this way, obviously make sure the book ends the right way round. So that's number 3. Bit of glue. I'll put number 4 in place, which has got some lugs on here. Which will be ready for book 5. Again, make sure it's going around the right way. That's looking really good. I'm really clever how this has been done. So you continue doing this through all the books, and when they're done, they should look like that. As you can see. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, put them to one side. I'm going to make the toolbox, which is just these 2 parts here, and it's just a case of gluing the lid to the base. And to be honest with you, it looks like this has already been weathered for us, but there you go. In the inside it looked weathered, but that's the toolbox done. We're going to be making a first aid kit. So I just need to take the handle off here, put this into the first aid kit there. We're going to need to glue that into place. We want the indented side to be this way round. And then we can just glue the front on, and look at the detail on this. This is great. Look, they've got the actual style of this correct as well. Because around about this time, there was plenty that looked like this, but they didn't have family on it. This one has, so that's attention to detail. That's just going to go on this side. And we have made the first aid kit. We're going to make the thermos flask now. So we're just going to cut off these two details. One here. And that's going to go into this side of the thermos flask. That is metal. Oh my God. Okay, we're going to glue this into place. That's funny, that's metal. I didn't expect that, I have to say. Okay, so that side's in. In turn, this is going to be going into this base here. Like that. Now I'm going to make a binoculars case. Binoculars. Yeah. So I've got two little details here to cut off. And in this pack here, we've got a bit of strapping. And I'm going to need some glue. God, my hands are filthy after this build. Look at this. Okay, one side of the strapping is going to go here. It does have holes in each side to get this in. Tweezers are going to help me, I think. That's one side in. Do the same on the other side. That's surprisingly hard to do, that bit. Because this is now going onto a binoculars case. Once again, that's metal. That's brilliant. So I'm going to drop some glue in there first. Put one side in. Excellent. And then just do the same on the other side here. And there we go. We got a little binocular case completed. And obviously we've got our first pan, which we don't have to do anything with, but that is all there is to do in that stage. That's all there is to do in that pack. That was pretty amazing. God, I've got a red mark on my head from where I've been wearing my lights. But as you can see, all my lights are working. We created the mast. Got this plugged in, so I can't bring it over too much. Obviously, it wasn't plain sailing for me. I made mistakes, but I make mistakes so you don't have to. But that took up so much time. And then obviously, if I bring this section over, which I can now remove my clamps there, we've got the working windows in here that come up like that and down as well. Now I think in the film there was actually some copper behind here. Now I have got copper tape, so I think I might be putting some copper in there if that doesn't get provided, but that is looking good as well. I really hope you like that video. The recording time, just so you know, is 2 hours, so there's plenty to do. Anyway, if you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.